Well, good morning. Very cold early March day. It's actually about -20 out here this morning as I head out. Lots of little friends along the trail this morning. I'm in a very well-populated area, or a well-traveled area, but I'm going to get off trail, as you can see, in some of the NCC areas in Nepean. Going to do a couple hours today. Should be a lot of fun. Let's get moving. So one kind of interesting thing on this stretch, there's a former maintenance road for these hydro poles. Actually, I guess it still is a maintenance road. All along the edge of the road, the alders have grown up very, very quickly. It hasn't been in use for any regular basis for quite a few years. And then the open areas behind them. But as you can see from the tracks, these provide corridors for the animals to get up. And if you can move quietly and slowly, you have a chance of seeing critters. I just spooked a turkey out of a roost. He was sitting in a pile of these alders, and I didn't see him until I was almost on top of him. Scared the daylights out of me when he took off. The alders also provide nesting areas for all the birds that live in here, although most of those guys have headed south for the winter. Somebody's been marking their territory. He's been going right up along the edge of this trail. And every 100 yards or so. So this isn't exactly backcountry, but it is kind of fun to get off the trail and just stomp through these areas. They're very hard to access in the summertime because they're heavily overgrown. So in the wintertime, you can just kind of wander through them. This is a spot that's kind of cool. The snow is compressed under there, so I suspect maybe a deer lay down. It's going to be very difficult to see because we had 4 or 5 inches of fresh snow yesterday and heavy winds, so we had a lot of drifting, but there is a bit of a compressed trail that leads up in here. I'm not going to go across that trail. I don't want to spook a deer if they use this regularly. There's a lot of blowdown in here, and definitely a fairly well-used trail into a couple of these, so pretty sure they are used by the deer. This is such a pretty little area of the trail. It's only maybe 50 yards long, but just lots of trees through here, overhanging the trail itself. Sun's filtering through the trees. Quite scenic in here. And animal tracks everywhere. Deer, coyote, even some turkey tracks in here. And squirrels and chipmunks and heaven knows what else. Probably some foxes as well. You know, the branch structure on this tree is just so cool. And when I was mentioning those tracks, how did I forget the snowshoe hares? There's all kinds of them in here. Lots of tracks here. Must be a den very close by. Yeah, as I suspected. I think the den's somewhere down in here. I'm not going to get in too close. A regular trail in and out of there, and then one other trail in and out of there as well. Absolutely beautiful bright sunshine today, but you can't really feel the sun. It is pretty chilly. One very nice thing today is that unlike several of my recent snowshoeing trips, I'm actually up on top of the snow. The snow is fairly hard packed underneath. There's still a couple of feet of it out here, but I'm not sinking into my knees. And that makes the trekking an awful lot easier. Well, circled this entire, what used to be a sort of a meadow, and now is growing rapidly. Tons and tons of deer tracks, but I didn't manage to get a sighting today. However, now that I've done the circle, I've cut my trail, and we'll head on back toward the parking lot. So these are the tracks of that coyote, and they're actually over top of my snowshoe prints from earlier this morning. So he's been in here in the last hour, hour and a half. Probably not all that far away. Might even be sitting behind something watching me. And we're out of the more overgrown area and back into the hydro corridor, and my buddy, that's probably where he came in and out of the bush, and he's been doing a loop, probably doing some hunting. So he's gone into and come out of the bush here, and it looks, I don't know, did he sit down there? Did he sense something and turn around? Not quite sure. As I was heading up the trail, it didn't take very long before I flushed that turkey again, or a different turkey. Wonder if that's what the coyote's out here for. But again, I couldn't get the camera up in time to get a shot of him as he took off. And now, back at my starting point of the snowshoeing portion anyway. This is the well-traveled part of the Stony Swamp Trail. We'll take the shoes off here and just walk back out in the boots. Gosh, it's been an absolutely gorgeous day. Yes, it's -20 and it's breezy, but once you get going, it's awesome. The trail, there's been nobody on it, maybe even since the last time I was up here a couple of weeks ago, which is fantastic. You know, get out and do this in your communities. This is literally 20 minutes away from where I live. Absolutely beautiful out here. Enjoy.